We're going to have the meeting begin. I'd like to welcome everyone to our inaugural meeting of the board. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I look forward to having my friends at the table, but we've got our process to go through to make sure everybody is sworn in appropriately. So I'd like to begin by reading the acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional land of Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which is represented by Saugeen First Nation and Nawash-on-Sea First Nation. And we also think of the Métis Nation of Ontario, whose people and cultures are well represented in Grey and Bruce counties. Everyone is here, so we've not received any regrets, so that's awesome. So I'd just like to begin with a moment of reflection. So as we prepare to swear in our Board of Trustees for the next term, I want to take a moment to reflect on the hard work and achievements of this past term through our outgoing and returning trustees. Our trustees dedicate countless hours to a range of efforts, including participation on board committees, meeting preparation and attendance, provincial conferences, school councils, community engagement initiatives, and ongoing advocacy and availability for the needs of their constituents. The last term also had the unique addition of a global pandemic. As responsible stewards of our resources, not to mention oversight of the annual budget for our local public education system, not enough thanks can be expressed for the dedication and work of our Blue Water District School Board trustees. We send a special thank you to those departing for their years of service to the students, staff, and families of Blue Water. Meanwhile, we congratulate, welcome, and look forward to working with those elected and acclaimed to serve over the next 4 years. I would also like to just take a moment to acknowledge Tracy Atkinson for the wonderful, well-deserved award she received, the Platinum Jubilee Coin, for all of her volunteer work and so much of it that takes place in our schools. Thank you very much and congratulations. For a moment of reflection, please join me to acknowledge that all of this has been accomplished over the past 4-year term while thinking about our important work ahead and continuing to ensure a quality education for every student in a safe, accepting, and caring environment. Everyone. So now we will move to the declaration and oath, and I will call out the names of the elected and acclaimed trustees and ask that you come to the front and line up across at the front of the room. So as I say your name, you can just come and stand over here and then we'll spread out along here. So Tracy Lynn Atkinson, representing Municipality of West Grey, Town of Hanover. Michael Craig, City of Owen Sound. Jan Johnstone, Municipality of Kincardine, Township of Huron-Kinloss. Janice Kaikonen, Township of Southgate, Municipality of Grey Highlands. Derek Long, Municipality of Brockton, Municipality of South Bruce. Katie Lutz, Town of Saugeen Shores, Municipality of Erin-Eldersley. Marilyn McComb, Township of Georgian Bluffs and Township of Chatsworth. Fran Morgan, Municipality of Meaford, Town of Blue Mountains. And Jane Thompson, Town of South Bruce Peninsula, Municipality of Northern Bruce Peninsula. So you'll see by the sheet of paper that you have a declaration there that Beth has given to you. So I would ask that you read in unison the declaration, which is the top part of the page. And I will start with you to help you out. I insert your name. So I,
Jan Johnson, solemnly declare that I am not disqualified under any act from being a member of the Blue Blue Water District School Board. I solemnly declare that I will truly, faithfully, impartially, and to the best of my ability execute the office of board member, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or malversation or other undue execution of the said office, and that I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, as required by and in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
Well done. Thank you very much. So at the bottom of the page, now I would ask that you read in unison the oath that you were provided, and I will start you off as well. So, I,
Jan Johnson, swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III. Sworn or affirmed before me at the town of Chesley, in the province of Ontario, this 15th day of November 2022.
thank you very much. So just over here, there's a table. So I'd ask that you would come to the table and sign the document provided and leave it with Beth. And once signed, you may then take your place at the board table.
Be careful you don't trip on anything behind the Janice. Almost looks like a little spaceship. I know. Just something like that. I know, it's very awesome. Thank you. We could draw close up. Yes, good job. Very helpful. It was good voice. Thank you.
Everyone, I am pleased to acknowledge the new Blue Water District School Board of Trustees for 2022 to 2026. Congratulations, everyone. Now, just for the purposes this evening, I'm going to ask everyone in the room to introduce themselves. And I think we'll start with our student trustee. We'll move to the student senate. And then we can go to our senior team and ABBA rep, and we also have two other guests with us, so we'll have them introduce ourselves as well. So, let's get here.
Hi, I'm Eve Snoblin. I'm from Kincardine District Senior School, and I'm a student trustee.
Hello, I'm BWDSB. I'm from BWDSB, and I'm a student senator.
I am Molly Solomon. I'm from Peninsula Shores Civic School, and I'm the First Nation Student Senator. I'm Lauren McKibben. I'm from OSDSS, and I'm the student senator.
Hello, I am Cole Hamill, and I am the student senator of BWDS.
Hello, I'm Jacob Thompson. I'm the student senator for Grey Highlands.
Hi, I'm Sarah Morrow. I'm principal of Eastridge School, and I'm representing the principal's team.
Hello, I'm Andrea Tang. I'm the superintendent of education with responsibility for human resources services.
Good evening, everyone. Melissa McEwen, and superintendent of education.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Lauren Lipset, superintendent of education.
Keith LaFave, superintendent of education.
Bob Cummings, superintendent of business services.
Jamie Pettit, communications officer for the board.
Thank you. I'm Kristen McCormick. I'm the ESP bargaining unit president.
And ESP,
Educational support professionals, so that's, EAs, ECEs, CYWs, OBSs, yeah. Almost acronyms.
I know. Thanks, Kristen. So thank you, everyone. Moving along on the agenda, we are at section A2, approval of the agenda. So I would like to ask that the agenda for the inaugural meeting of the board of November 15th, 2022 be approved as printed. Mover? Thank you, Trustee Thompson, and seconded by Trustee Johnstone. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Section A3, disclosure of pecuniary interest. So is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest for any agenda items this evening? I see none. Thank you. A4, we're going to move to the elections. So I will preside over the election of the chair, and then once the chair is in place, that person will preside over the election of the vice chair. So I call for a motion to open nominations for chair. Thank you, Trustee Morgan, seconded by Trustee McComb. And all in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Are there nominations for the position of chair? Thank you, Trustee Morgan.
Thank you, Lord. I would like to nominate Trustee Thompson for the position of chair.
So that Trustee Thompson is nominated for the position of chair, moved by Fran Morgan. So we go all in favor? All in favor? Okay, thank you. And Trustee Thompson, do you let your name stand for this?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. So now, are there other further nominations for the position of chair? And I will repeat that. Any other further nominations for the position of chair? And any other nominations for the position of chair? Okay, I now ask that the nominations for the position of chair be closed. Moved by Trustee Morgan and seconded by Trustee Johnstone. And all in favor? Would you, congratulations, Chair Thompson. Would you like to join me at the front and maybe say a few words or not? Your choice.
I'd be delighted.
Okay, thank you. to thank everyone for your ongoing confidence. I will continue to carry on the duty of chair to the very best of my abilities and will look to each of you for your thoughtful participation. I decided to run for my third term because I am very proud of Blue Water District School Board, its staff, its students, and the cumulative work that we have accomplished over the years as boards of trustees. We will continue to provide solid leadership to Blue Water when we make governance decisions that are guided by our strategic plan and focus on the achievement and well-being of our 18,000 plus students. It is our responsibility and privilege to educate the students in Bruce and Grey counties in schools that are inclusive and accepting of all. I look forward to this new Board of Trustees carrying on with this very important work, and thank you each again. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the nominations for the position of Vice Chair be opened. Trustee Lutz and Trustee Atkinson. All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Are there any nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Trustee Atkinson?
Yes, I would like to nominate Jan Johnstone for Vice Chair of Blue Water District School Board.
Trustee Jones. Joan, do you allow your name to stand?
Yes.
So are there any further nominations? I see none, and we need to repeat that 3 times. So is there any further additional nominations for the position of Vice Chair? And finally, are there any further nominations for the position of Vice Chair? I see none. Congratulations. So I need to I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder that the nominations for the position of Vice Chair be closed. Trustee McComb, Trustee Lutz, and congratulations to Trustee Johnston. Would you like to say a few words?
And thank you very, very much. I'd like to first of all thank my nominator, Tracy, who of course won that, or was awarded that most wonderful coin. And so I felt very humbled when I asked her if she would nominate me, and she said she would because she's a rock star as far as I'm concerned. I just want to thank everybody for in supporting me. It's the 3rd time I've been the vice chair of the board, and I've also been a former chair, and I think that what I bring to the board is outside of being an absolutely, supportive of publicly funded education, and strongly, believe that our, focus for trustees is on, student excellence in education and student well-being, is that I really strongly believe that the role of trustee is absolutely important. We represent our local communities and we bring, you could say, their concerns or things that are important to them to the attention of the board. And at the same time, we go back into our communities and not only do we hear what they have to say, but we also share very much. You could say the celebrations of the board or their, or what we're doing on their behalf. So I really, really thank you very much for your support. And that's it.
Computer challenges.
Yeah, I'm having computer challenges.
So we are to the appointment of trustees to statutory committees. So we'll be going through each one. And first I'm going to put this on the floor. I'm going to be looking for a mover and a seconder. That the board appoint the, did I wait and do that again? All right, we're going to first to do the appointment of the trustees and then we'll do the motion. So are there trustees that are interested in sitting in the audit committee? I will say that I think we have determined that the chair should be one of the participants in the audit committee. So I will be taking one of those slots. So we'll be looking for 2 trustees that are interested in participating in the audit committee. Trustee Morgan? Trustee Morgan and Trustee Kay Cohen? Kai Cohen. I apologize.
Can you move your thing so I can see your name? Thank you.
And I will do my best. Trustee Kai Cohen. Close?
Close.
Are there any other trustees that are interested in that committee? And I don't see any, so we will have Trustee Thompson, Trustee Morgan, and Trustee Kai Conan. Perfect. As the 3 members of the committee. So I'm looking for a mover and a seconder to that effect. I see Trustee Craig and Trustee Long. And that is the Trustee Thompson, Trustee Morgan, and Trustee Kai Conan will be appointed to the audit committee for a 1-year term. All in favor? Okay, that is carried. Next, we're to the Parent Involvement Committee, and for this committee, we're looking for 1 trustee and 1 alternate to sit on the Parent Involvement Committee. Are there any trustees that are interested in volunteering for this committee? Trustee Kai Conan?
You're getting your practice in.
Sadly, I'm going to be spelling your name incorrectly. Any other trustees interested in sitting on that committee? So we have
If you need an alternate,
we do need an alternate.
volunteer to be the alternate.
Okay. Anybody else interested in the alternate position? So I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder that the board appoint the following trustee and alternate to the Parent Involvement Committee for a 1-year term, and it's Trustee Kai Conan and Trustee Craig. All in favor? Oh, and I need a mover and a seconder. trustee Atkinson and trustee Johnstone, and all in favor. Okay, so our special advisory committee. For this committee, we're looking for 2 trustees and 1 alternate to sit on the Special Education Advisory Committee, and this is a 4-year term from 2022 to 2026. So I'll look for a mover and a seconder, please. Trustee Atkinson, and then I'll ask for the volunteers. Trustee Atkinson and Trustee Craig. And could I have 2 volunteers for the position? I see Trustee Atkinson and Trustee Craig. Any other people that are?
I could be alternate.
Thank you. Anybody that's being left out of this that would like to be considered? I see none, so. It was moved by Trustee Atkinson, seconded by Trustee Craig, that the Blue Water District School Board appoint the following 2 trustees and 1 alternate to the Special Education Advisory Committee for the term of the board. And that is Trustee Atkinson and Trustee Craig and Trustee McComb as the alternate. And all in favor? Thank you, that's carried. The Supervised Alternative Learning Committee. We're looking for 2 trustees and 1 alternate interested in sitting on the Supervised Alternative Learning Committee. Could I have a mover and seconder first? Trustee Morgan, and a seconder, Trustee Lutz. And we are looking for 2 trustees to sit on this committee. Are any interested? I see Trustee Morgan, Trustee McComb, and I see Trustee Lutz.
I'll be the alternate.
Oh, thank you, Kate. Trustee Lutz. Trustee Morgan, Trustee McComb, and Trustee Lutz is the alternate. Anybody else that wanted to be considered for that? I see none. So it was moved by Trustee Morgan, seconded by Trustee Lutz. That the board appoint the following 2 trustees and 1 alternate to the Supervised Alternative Learning Committee for a 1-year term, and that is Trustee Morgan, Trustee McComb, and the alternate is Trustee Lutz. All in favor? Are there any notice of motions this evening? Yeah. I see none. And we are down to the committee establishments and appointments. The Special Education Advisory Committee represent appointments nominated by their local associations and agencies. There are 8 Special Education Advisory Committee representative appointment recommendations as nominated by local associations and agencies. I would like to invite Superintendent of Education McEwen to speak to the report, and then I will put the motions on the floor for consideration.
Thank you, Chair Thompson. I'm here this evening to share with you a report about Special Education Advisory Committee and the representative appointments for that committee. Our CEAC, as we affectionately call it, it's known across the province, is governed under Ontario Regulation 46497. And it requires that members of the Special Education Advisory Committee and their alternates are appointed by the Blue Water District School Board for the term of the Board of Trustees. We reached out to each of our local agencies beginning last June to provide them information about CEAC and the committee, and we asked for each of the organizations to provide us with an expression of interest, including the name of a potential committee member and an alternate. So upon receiving those requests, we are pleased to be here this evening to share the nominations and the alternate requests. On SEAC, we have representatives from local organizations, and we continue to ask local organizations to provide us with their perspective and input. So we are this evening here looking for confirmation of those appointments.
Thank you. So I'll be looking for movers and seconders as we go through each of the motions for the members that will be put. So first, could I have a mover and a seconder that the Blue Water District School Board appoint Lori Hill as a member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Ontario Network of Expertise. Could I have a mover, Trustee Atkinson, and a seconder, Trustee McComb? All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Next, I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder that Blue Water District School Board appoint Karen Stockwell as an alternative member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Ontario Network of Expertise. Could I have a mover, please? Trustee Long, and seconded by Trustee McComb. All in favor? That's carried. Next, that the Blue Water District School Board appoint Liz Thomas as a member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Keystone Youth and Family Services. Trustee Atkinson, seconded by Trustee Craig. All in favor? It's a little lackluster in the but I think it was carried. The Blue Water District School Board appoint Kathy Clark as an alternate member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Keystone Child and Youth Family Services. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Trustee Morgan, Trustee Craig. All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. That Blue Water District School Board appoint Marlene Webb as a member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Community Living Walkerton and District. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Trustee McCollum, Trustee Lutz, all in favor? Thank you, that's carried. That the Blue Water District School Board appoint Cheryl Marshall as an alternate member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Community Living Walkerton and District. Trustee Atkinson, Trustee Lutz, all in favor? Thank you, that's carried. That the Blue Water District School Board appoint Jackie Ralph as member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by the Canadian Mental Health Association, Grey Bruce. Do I have a mover and seconder? Trustee McComb, Trustee Lutz. All in favor? And finally, that the Blue Water District School Board appoint Stephanie Burley as the alternate member of the Special Education Advisory Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by Canadian Mental Health Association, Grey Bruce. Could I have a mover and seconder? Trustee Morgan, Trustee Johnstone, all in favor? And that is carried. The Supervised Alternative Learning Committee representative appointment. There is one Supervised Alternative Learning Committee Representative Appointment Recommendation. I'd like to invite Superintendent of Education McEwen to speak to the report, and then I will put the recommendation on the floor for consideration.
Thank you, Chair Thompson. I'm here this evening to speak to you about the Supervised Alternative Learning Committee Representative Appointment as outlined in Ontario Regulation 37410. And that regulation requires that requires that members of the Supervised Alternative Learning Committee and their alternates be appointed by Blue Water District School Board for the term of the Board of Trustees. We have a number of people that sit on that committee, a supervisory officer as well as trustees, which you heard about a little earlier this evening. But in addition, we also have a community member who sits as a member of that committee. And this evening, I'm looking for support regarding the community member nomination.
Thank you. So again, we'll be looking for a mover and a seconder that Blue Water District School Board appoint Stacy Gulliver as a member of the Supervised Alternative Learning Committee for the 2022-2026 term as nominated by YMCA of Owen Sound Breakers. I have a mover and seconder. Trustee Long and Trustee Morgan. All in favor? Thank you, that's carried.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
As soon as this thing goes on.
You got it.
Okay. Simple question, really. How many students are currently in that program?
I didn't bring that information with me this evening, but I'm happy to provide it.
Even roughly?
I would say that we probably receive about 20 applications per month. So you are likely looking, and this is an estimate, that we probably have between 40 and 60 students participating in that program currently.
I just wanted to comment, I keep stumbling over the 2026. That sounds like a long way away, but in addition, trustees were provided with a copy of the committees with trustee representation list, and were asked to note their areas of interest and return those to SIMS. Submissions will be collated to determine trustee representation on those committees. To note for trustees, in addition to the statutory committees to which appointments were already made, all trustees are members of the business committee and a business committee of the whole and the committee of the whole board. So if you can return if you haven't already done so, Vice Chair Johnstone and I will meet with Director Wilder, and we will make those appointments and let you know as soon as possible, because some of those committees will have meetings coming up in the near future. We're to reports for information and the annual banking resolution. I'd like to invite Superintendent of Business Services, Treasurer Cummings, to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chair Thompson, and congratulations. Congratulations to you too, Vice Chair Johnstone, and for all of you in your inaugural meeting. One of the things we do annually, you get used to this, in a couple of years this will be old hat, but according to our bylaws, we do need to approve a number of banking resolutions. The first one in the package is the general banking resolution, which assigns the signing authority for the organization. As you can see, it confirms Chair, Vice Chair, Director of Education, and Superintendent of Business Services. Two of those suffice for signing authority. The second one there is a certificate of officers and directors, and this gets filled out. Some of this stuff comes from securities fraud prevention, so it is instituted across all chartered banks, and therefore it does affect public service like us, although not maybe in the same intent that it does for private. The last item on there is the borrowing resolution. And this authorizes our borrowing of dollars to meet the current capital expenditures of the organization. as you will know, our funding is not on a regular basis. We do receive a certain amount of money on a monthly basis. We also receive larger amounts of money in September and June based on property tax. And when it comes to capital funding, we only receive reimbursement for those expenditures in, I think it's March and in July. So it's a little bit limited. We have to bridge our way along there. And that's why we have that borrowing resolution in place to help us out in those moments where the cash flow troughs a little bit, waiting for funding to come in from the ministry. That is my report.
Thank you. So I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder to put this resolution on the floor. Could I have a mover, please? Trustee Morgan and Trustee Lutz, thank you. And I'll just read this motion first. It was moved by Trustee Morgan, seconded by Trustee Lutz, that the Blue Water District School Board approve the following banking resolutions for 2023. 1, the general banking resolution. 2, the certificate of officers and directors. And 3, the general borrowing resolution of $50 million. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. And next, after all of that business that we've managed to get through this evening, I would like to invite our Director of Education, Wilder, to present her annual report. Could I have a mover and seconder that the Blue Water District School Board receive the annual report 2022 for information? Trustee Long and Trustee Craig, thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much, Chair Thompson. I'll just hold a bit while these are handed out for everyone. Have a copy.
Thank you.
It truly is an honor and a pleasure to bring forward the Director's Annual Report 2022. I know that that's the official name based on the Education Act, but really this is a culmination of many, many people's work. So maybe I should petition the Minister to change the term or the title of this, because it has taken a lot of efforts from all of our amazing staff and our students, our union partners and our parent communities to bring this together. It is a yearly Education Act requirement that the Director present this annual report, and it is to happen at this meeting. So it seems early. Everything seems earlier this year. So I would like to very much acknowledge right from the get-go and thank Jamie Pettit here, our Communications Officer, and Brenna Lawrence, Executive Assistant in Corporate Services, who were instrumental in bringing together what Jamie calls our greatest hits. That's his term, because you will notice that everything in this report, you have probably as trustees, those that have been with us before, seen the reports. It's a culmination of everything that we've done in the year 2022. And it's interesting timing, because it really is it's from January to December 2022, which doesn't align with the school year. So that's why it seems a little different. And if you, and Jamie, sorry, I'm jumping all over, but just the back page, when you look at the pictures, it is the past Board of Trustees, but the Student Senate is our new Student Senate. And that's how we've been doing that for years gone by. So it just makes sense. And I know you've just been here since September, but you are still a big part of the 2022 year. So anyway, the timing's a little off in some parts, but really it is a reflection of what we did from January to December 2022. So I'm just going to highlight some aspects of the report, not all, because it is there for your reading pleasure. But I like very much how it's outlined. So when we come first, we have our messages there. And thank you very much, as Jean was our chair for that time period. Thank you very much for your words there and message that you have, and as well to our current student trustees. Thanks very much for your comments. It's very appreciated. And then moving over, this is always a fun page, the quick fact page. It's just some great little tidbits of information from our board that are very interesting, and I always like to look at our coverage area. Our area is quite large. It's the size of Prince Edward Island, I've been told, and you can see how many square kilometers. And I know when I talk to some of my colleagues, even with a bigger number of students, I mean, geographically, we're still quite large. Certainly not like some of the northern boards who have a very big geography, but we are certainly up there. And we have to celebrate our student, the number of students. We are now over 18,000 students, and that is amazing because we've gone through a time where that number had declined quite significantly, but we are certainly on the upswing when it comes to attendance. And there's other facts, quick facts there for you to take a look at. So the way the report has been created is just around our multi-year strategic plan, because that guides very much all of the work that we do in our board. And so it is acknowledged with our priorities. So our 4 priorities, and then under each priority we have some highlights or greatest hits, as Jamie said, that would speak to that actual priority. And in the report itself, you will have an electronic version that came with your agenda, because there are hyperlinks in there. So that gives you more information than actually is in this hard copy report. So when you get a chance, you can go into the links and it'll take you to different reports that came forward. Really, overall, the report is very much about the achievement and well-being of our students and staff, and that's what we strive to do, which is a very big part of our multi-year strategic plan. So the priority 1, it's a safe, supportive learning community. And what I just wanted to highlight there is very much the mental health service delivery model. We have increased our team significantly over the years, and I know Superintendent McCune has done a good job of highlighting that. And we now have, if I can just even say, 7 mental health workers. From a time that I recall, we had 0 mental health workers. So the work that they do, along with the child and youth workers and our student support attendance counselors, has been significant. Because we've had such a focus on student mental health. No worries, it's all good. There are some other good things highlighted there. Our employee and family assistance program, which is available to our staff to help in their wellness. And then if on the next page, when you talk about the supports, I just want to highlight again, which has been talked about, the 3 tiers of support to support our students. So tier 1 is our base level support, promotion and prevention. Tier 2 is targeted prevention, and then tier 3 is our intensive intervention and assessment. And that's when we really look to our partner agencies and organizations that can provide the support that is required for our students. So that is the highlights that we have for priority 1. Priority 2, it's our quality instruction, and that is a huge part of what we do. And you can see under each priority, it lists the priority, but it also lists the strategic goals underneath. So you can see for yourself the 2 nuggets there listing what the goals are. And it's a new ring. So one thing I'd like to highlight there, and because this is trustees, one of your roles has been the budget and overseeing the budget. And if it weren't for the work that you've done, due diligence over the past 4 years really, we were able to invest in a 1-to-1 laptop for our secondary students, and that is a significant achievement. So thanks very much for the work that you've done and making decisions that you've done. And we're hopeful moving forward that we can expand that. We're still in discussions, but we're thinking 7 and 8s as well. There are other points there. I also wanted to talk about the right to read. That is, as you know, the Ontario Human Rights did the right to read inquiry, so that will be a huge focus for us going forward. But the nice part is we have been very involved in science of reading for some time, so I would say under Superintendent Penner-Lipset, we've been ahead of the game, and we've already been doing a lot of work in that regard. So more to come on that, but we've again been able to hire for literacy coaches, which has been really helpful. I see there's a question.
Go ahead. Trustee
Yeah, I read this before, part of the package, and this was one subject that really caught my eye and my mind. I'll note that the Right to Read report says the recent hiring of primary literacy coaches has enabled a focus on supporting early years teachers in developing a reading program in their classrooms based on scientific, evidence-based reading assessment and instruction. Sounds wonderful. I'm not quite sure what it means. So here are the questions that came to my mind as I read that bit. Does scientific and evidence-based suggest that we are going back to more emphasis on phonics to help students decode words? I'll throw all the questions at you.
And I will invite Superintendent Penner-Lipset to the front too, so you continue, and
Sure.
she will help support these.
Okay, question 2. I only have 3, I think. Or will we be, at least to some degree, be encouraging kids to guess what the word signifies using context clues? Good. Are we, as a board, comfortable with re-emphasizing phonics? Or are we dragged into this by the ministry's directives? So it means, in short, it means phonics, yes or no?
Yes. Short answer. As a board, we've been exploring science of reading. So as you referenced, there's lots of research now about how the brain learns to read. Phonics is one part of it. There's 5 components to reading, to learning to read. Phonics and phonemic awareness are 2 of the 5. So we can't lose track of the other pieces, which have to do with vocabulary comprehension and, I know it's fluency. Thank you, Superintendent McEwen. Those are the 5 components. So, but we need to get the basics. I'm saying quotations, but those base skills in phonics and phonemic awareness. And our curriculum does not reflect that yet. But we understand there's a revision to the curriculum that will include science of reading. We haven't seen that yet, but we are working on, nonetheless, we are working in that regard here in Blue Water.
Good, that's encouraging. For what it's worth, I have a niece who is, I guess she's executive director of the Dyslexia Association of Ontario. She's been filling my ear with complaints about how the school system has let down kids with dyslexia. So it sounds like you're moving in the better direction.
Thank you.
Director Wilder, we didn't have a chance to chat before, but is this okay to interrupt your flow, or would you prefer questions at the end?
No, that's absolutely fine. It makes sense to ask the questions at the time, and I know I have the senior team on standby to support any of their contributions to the report as well. So.
Perfect, thank you. Trustee Martin.
I'd just like to make a quick comment following Trustee Craig. I know at the board office here, you do some of the science of reading workshops with staff, and I personally would be very interested in sitting in on those, and I'm sure Trustee Craig would be too. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before I continue? Okay. That's along with that section, that's not to say that achievement in math is not a focus as well. It's just that the Ontario Human Rights has really highlighted the right to read. So you can see too with math that we're working away. We have been for quite some time. It's we're moving towards job-embedded professional learning in a lot of areas, literacy and math, just because of our concern around lack of supply, teachers and staff. So it's nice to get right into the classrooms and support as best we can. And in our secondary, we've really expanded our dual credit and skilled trades opportunities. Some nice highlights just along this report. Just in the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, and Justin Graham was here our last meeting to talk to you, but we have, along with the established Level 1 Carpentry Program, we also have students represent over 40 new apprentices in Grey and Bruce counties in the construction and industrial sectors, which is outstanding because those sectors really, again, are short-staffed as are many, so it's nice that we are helping to do this with our own staff, or students and graduates. And just the summer learning, it's talking about some of the learning programs, and the one specifically there supported by Superintendent Lefebvre was our Landing Success. And this was a first try at something like this, and it certainly landed successfully, I would say, and it was held at Saugeen First Nation, and we had 15 students and who identify as Indigenous who are in the program. The nice thing for them is a reach ahead secondary credit, and that's lovely to be able to start into their grade 9 year when they already have a credit under their belt, so to speak. So that was a really successful program, which had some land-based learning and as well field trips and interactive activities. So community engagement has been a priority for us, and you can see the strategic goals listed there. And one of the things that we undertook as directed by the ministry was a student demographic census, and it's listed there. And you can see it's just the work, it's designed to inform this work, the board's ongoing important work in the areas of diversity, equity, and inclusive education, and to help our staff to better understand student populations and school communities. And it's lovely. I know we've referenced this lovely down here logo design, but I don't know, like Molly over here, Solomon, she was the creator of this beautiful logo, and we've referenced it before, Molly, but I don't know, have you ever been here in this space when we've done that? So congratulations and thank you. Outstanding. It's just so nice to have you here. Like, it's just, you did such a beautiful job with that. So thanks very much. And Emerson Lance of Egremont Community School came up with the slogan there. So, and then just turning over the pages there, you can see we have our Diversity, Equity, Inclusive Education Advisory Committee, again led by Superintendent Lefebvre. And so that was new last year, and it'll be moving forward again this year. And engaging communities. So there's a few different schools referenced, but I just want to say that there are so many other examples. So these are just highlights, but all of our schools do such amazing work, and they can all be highlighted somehow, some way in this report, but we just took a few examples there. And stewardship of resources. Again, this goes back to the trustee efforts, and of course Superintendent Cummings and his team. And I just have to say, it's just wonderful. We had audit committee, and some of us were involved in the last, well, we had 2 quick meetings, didn't we, in the last week and even this week. And it's just wonderful to be in the position we are with our resources. And it's been a long time coming, and so I just want to thank Rob and his team for all the work they've done, and the trustees for the decisions we've made. And when you look at, again, separate from that exactly, but we've been very successful as a board to get approvals for different kinds of things. So child care investments, you have the list there of where we've had some child care support, and we have new builds that have been approved, and we're working on getting those moving forward. So on the back as well, you can see the distribution of expenses. I'm a very visual person, so seeing the chart like that done, you can see that the classroom receives the majority of the resources, which for all of us, that's where it should be focused. The ventilation in schools during our pandemic, that was a really big focus. And it's amazing to think we now have 393 portable high efficiency filters, air filtration units in our schools. And along with that, the funds that came were used to enhance inspections, the maintenance of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So a lot of work went into that, into ventilation in schools. And I think I mentioned the school renewal projects. Well, it's always lovely to have members from Plant here to talk about some of the things that we've done with renewal. We're always trying to keep up with our schools, keep them in tip-top shape, and I'm always so impressed when I visit our schools and the work that our custodians do to keep our schools in amazing shape, and never more than ever since we didn't have them for a couple of days, so it's lovely to have them back, and we welcome them wholeheartedly back. And then just the back page is everybody's lovely picture, and we look forward again next year to have our new trustees profiled as well. So that is the director's annual report, and if you have any questions.
Go ahead, Trustee Craig.
Just one more question on this thing. I was fascinated to read that at Alexandra Community School, staff worked with the city of Owen Sound to unveil the school's new thoughtful space. That's one of the schools in Owen Sound, so it interests me greatly. Also read 7 trees were planted along the boulevard behind the school, with each containing a stone and plaque at its base representing one of the 7 grandfather teachings. I love this stuff. As a humanist, this is the kind of spirituality that I can work with and identify with. But what I really am wondering is, do these projects signify a board-wide effort to incorporate Indigenous teachings and values in all schools, or was this a one-off for that school?
And if I may, I can respond, and then I know maybe Superintendent Lefebvre can respond as well. And this, again, is many of our schools come forward with efforts like that. I, with Superintendent Lefebvre, had an opportunity at GC Houston on National Truth and Reconciliation Day. They actually painted an orange crosswalk with 7 feathers across it, and they had residential school survivors actually there to first walk across it. So that's another example. I know PSDS has done work, and even our schools that don't have necessarily a large population of students identify as Indigenous, there are many efforts that are happening. Murals on buildings, or in the hallways. I'm thinking of Saugie District Senior School as well. This was specific to Alexandra, the way they did that with the trees, etc. But I know that there have been many other projects, and I don't know, Keith, if you want to add anything more that you could think of, or.
Thank you. Through the chair. Yeah, that certainly was a fantastic project. That Principal Russell was part of that project last year and applied for some money through some of the grant. We had grants that were available to schools for projects, experiential learning projects, and a number of schools did apply and received funds to participate in projects such as this one, supported by our Indigenous advisor, Melissa Coggy-Ritchie. And she is doing and leading a lot of that work throughout the district this year as well. And again, as Director Wilder said, you're going to see, we didn't specifically mandate that there needed to be that done at the school, but this is certainly one of many projects that are happening across the board, especially in support of our work around Indigenous education.
Trustee Morgan.
For Trustee Craig, at GBCS, which is in Meaford, there are a group of kids doing a garden, but there are also people doing cooking Indigenous food and growing the plants for medicine, I understand. I hope it's not those plants.
Go ahead.
So we know, yes, they're right. We know that our school system is secular and non-denominational. And I'm just wondering, when you welcome these kinds of projects, and particularly with a focus on what I might call Indigenous values and sometimes Indigenous spirituality, are you getting any pushback from the community that this is not what a secular school board should be doing?
And through the chair, no, we're not, because it is very different than religion. So when we're talking about Indigenous, as you say, spirituality, it is very different than religion, completely separate.
It's better than religion. Fair enough. Good. Thanks.
We will do this a lot, because if I forget to turn my mic off, then others can. Trustee Johnstone.
Thank you very much. Those are really good questions, and through the chair, but yes, we are a regular school system. Having said that, we also are welcoming of all, which means that in all our school system, that different religions and faiths are not only welcome, but they're also represented in our libraries, and we celebrate so that everybody feels welcome. So secularism doesn't mean that there is an absence. It's just that it's kind of like all. So we welcome all, and so all students, no matter their faith or non-faith, they're welcomed. And we also do lots of different celebrations in all our schools in terms of different people's faiths. And I just wanted to say that because I was concerned we were going to this other place, and that would probably be why, and I can assume that there's not pushback because everybody does feel welcomed in including their beliefs.
Director Wilder. I'm just going to shift a bit. I just wanted to acknowledge and thank the senior team. I think I've mentioned everybody other than Superintendent Tang, and really in her role in human resources, it's threaded throughout everything in here, and the work that she does with our different union groups, as represented, for example, Krista here this evening. So when I did say this is a culmination and celebration, it certainly isn't mine. It's this team here and all those folks that I mentioned before as well, and our principal group, and that's Sarah referenced ABBA is an acronym. It's Association for Blue Water Administrators. And so with our principals and vice principals, they're a solid member of our leadership team, and we're just so thankful for their contributions. And so thanks, team. Trustee Lutz.
Thank you. And just to go along with that, I may have missed if it was mentioned, but can we acknowledge who did the wonderful layout and design of this report? Because it looks fantastic, and I know I will be potentially stealing some of these images for, use on social media and whatnot. So it really is a great job. So I don't know, Director Wilder, if you could do that. Thank you.
Through the chair, and great question. It was Brenna Lawrence, so Executive Assistant in Corporate Services. So Brenna and Jamie were able to take the reports and pull them all together, but Jamie had said is the designer of that, and I know when I first saw it too, I was extremely impressed and continue to be. So thanks very much, Jamie, and if you could pass that on to Brenna as well. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much for your report. It was moved by Trustee Long and seconded by Trustee Craig that the Blue Water District School Board received the Director's Annual Report 2022 for information. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. There were 2 communications, and we do have one piece of communication. So for the new trustees, periodically we as a group have written a letter to the ministry about different topics. We've talked about trying to right-size our schools because there's such a delay for the funding. But one of the things that's been going on for a while is the executive compensation. There's been a freeze for quite some time. So our board sent a letter asking Minister Lecce to look at that, and we got a nice letter back saying that the government remains committed to ensuring a strong leadership in the broader sector, public sector, and recognizes the role executive compensation plays in attraction and retention of talent. However, the existing framework currently remains in place while the government considers its approach. So we have put our concerns forward, and that's the response that we have received. When correspondence comes from any other school board, I will ask Bev to circulate it to each of you, and you'll get it as quickly as I see it. So, are there any announcements from student trustees, staff? Jen?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Johnson?
Yes. So just to let everybody know that this coming weekend, actually on Monday, or no, Friday, I'm confused about what date it is. I live in Vancouver. Anyway, I'm attending an Ontario Public School Board Association, which is, OPSPA. So you'll hear OPSPA, and that's what it stands for. And it's a program committee meeting for Friday. And so a lot of things that have to do with obviously public education. For people who don't know, is that we're looking at anything under the curriculum, and that OPSPA, under the Education Act, is that the Ministry of Education must consult with us. It doesn't mean they have to listen to us, but they must consult with us. So we get a large opportunity to give information and provide stuff on it, and say new policy, all around program. Having said that, because I'm not an education expert, but I am lucky to have education experts from the Blue Water District School Board. So oftentimes I'm going to staff and asking, for input, so that I sound very intelligent and worldly at the board table. And so I'm attending that. And also for new trustees is that I think it's the end of February. It could be in your calendar events, but end of January is that we have the Public Education Symposium that is put on by the Ontario Public School Board. I really am encouraging everybody to attend that if you can. It gives you more of a, here you have a local kind of understanding of public education. This gives you more of a provincial, absolutely provincial understanding of education. You also get to meet trustees from right across the province. It's an opportunity to network, and the other thing about it is that, we have various views because we're from a rural board. It gives you an opportunity to talk to trustees in urban boards, northern boards, remote boards, and that you might find somebody else who you connect with because you have similarities of thought, so it provides you with your own network beyond the board. Anyway, that's what I'm sharing today.
Thank you. Trustee Moore?
Yes, through the chair. May I ask Trustee Johnstone, at our board meetings or committee of the whole meetings, to please give us a report from OPSPA? I don't know what the program committee does. You could be programming parties for OPSPA. I have no idea.
I absolutely will. So normally what happens, there's a difference. When I go to the board of directors, you will actually get from me where I forwarded, basically what we call a brief about what was talked about at OPSPA. Program, you don't normally get that, and it's because there's 2 representatives from the Western region, and that is a long delay, because once we have our meeting, I can't actually report anything to you until the minutes have come to me and they have been approved at the next meeting. So I can do that. How's that?
Perfect. Thank you.
It'll be a long delay.
I don't see any other questions or announcements or Are there any other, well, we've talked about the conference. So we're to the calendar of events. It will always be on the back of your, in your agenda package. If you're on a committee and you realize that a meeting's been missed for there, please let us know and it'll be added on. And as I say, some of those meetings are coming along, they're scheduled a long time in advance, so we will meet in a timely fashion. We don't have that organized yet, and do the appointments to the committees so people know. And with that, we are ready to adjourn at 8:16 p.m. I see Trustee Johnstone, Trustee Morgan,